Hello and welcome to another lab exercise. So in this lab exercise, we are going to look at streaming dynamic content using CloudFront. Right. So let's first go into our architecture need. So this is what we are trying to achieve. There is already an MP4 file in an S3 bucket, right? But we need to transcode, or in other words, convert, right, this MP4 file into smaller chunks of files that can be played by mobile devices. So we are going to use this transcoder. It is a converter that converts media files, right, into we are going to use this transcoder to convert this MP4 file into these smaller size files that can be played on mobile devices. And then we are going to put it in another S3 bucket, right? And then we create a CloudFront distribution for that, right, which takes these media files from these S3 bucket, and then now the content can be streamed on mobile devices by users. So that is basically what we are going to do. All right, so let's go into the AWS console, and then in the console you can see we have this S3 bucket, right? When I open it and I look at the inputs, you can see that there is what the S3 sample file, which is about 22.4 megabytes, right? So what we are going to do is that we are going to convert this file into smaller chunks of files that can be streamed on mobile devices. Okay, so first we would want to create a CloudFront distribution. So I'll head to CloudFront and I'll create a CloudFront distribution. Great. So from the origin domain, I'll select the S3 bucket that has our file. And for origin path is optional, so I'm going to leave that. And for the origin access, I'll also leave it as public. And I'll leave everything as it is. For advanced settings, we are not going to touch that. We also leave it as it is. And in fact, leave everything as it is. We are not going to restrict viewer access. And then let's look at the advanced settings here. Yes, we also leave this as it is, and that will be about it. So for the web application firewall, we are not going to enable anything, so we'll choose do not enable security protections. All right, and we will be prompted to choose an SSL certificate. For this one, we can just ignore it, right? And we are going to use all edge locations, right, for best performance, but we can decide to use only North America and Europe, and you can also decide to use North America, Europe, Asia, Middle East, and then Africa, but we just leave it as it is here. Okay, and then we can go ahead and then create the distribution. So currently our distribution is being deployed. So we can continue with the other one, but I would love to wait for it to finish before I continue. So I'll refresh the page to see if the deployment is done or completed. Okay, it is still deploying. Let's go ahead and then create our transcoder pipeline. All right, so on Elastic Transcoder, this is the page that we'll have. So I'll create new pipeline, and then the pipeline name, this will be the input pipeline. Okay, and for the bucket is the S3 bucket that we have the MP4 file in, right? So for the IAM rows, we'll look at other rows and then we'll choose the Amazon Elastic Transcoder role. Okay, so now we'll have to do a configuration for the transcoded files, right? And then playlist. So for this one, we'll choose the same bucket. Okay, and for storage class, we are going to choose standard, and we'll also want to configure buckets for thumbnails, right? So when the video files are created, thumbnails will also be created. Okay, so we are going to choose the same bucket for the thumbnails, but this time we are going to choose reduced redundancy, right? And that will be it. So we'll create our pipeline. All right, so here we have created a pipeline for the jobs to pass through, right? As in where to go, I mean, which buckets to save this, which buckets to save what, right? So the next thing is to create a job. Now so this is where we are going to create the transcoding job itself. Okay, so I'll click on create jobs, and then for the pipeline, that is the input pipeline that we created. All right, for the output prefix, we already have input prefix for the input file. All right, so we'll now create an output prefix. All right, so that is it. So that's for the output key prefix, that's output and then slash. Right, for the input key, we have the input key already, so that is the path to the mp3 mp4 file. All right, so select that, and then I'll come down here to, configure the output details. Right, so for presets, I will choose system presets for HLS2M, and this file is mostly for this one, this file is mostly supported on iOS and then Android devices. This is like the extension, let me put it that way. Just like we have PNG, we have JPG, we have MP4, we have MP3, we have GIF. So HLS2M is a preset that mostly mobile devices are able to use. So for the segment duration, I'll do 10, right, which is the HLS default. And then for uh, output key, I will use the prefix HLS 20M. Okay. So once this is done, I would want to add another output. Okay, so I'll choose add another output. Here I'm going to select HLS 1.5M. All right. So the goal here is to not exclude any mobile device, right? So I'm trying to create all possible instances for all mobile devices to be able to stream my video file, right? So that is the reason why I'm choosing different presets. Okay, so for the segment duration, I'll put 10, and for the output key, I'm going to put HLS 15M. All right, I'll add another one. I'll select, and this time I'm going to choose HLS 1M. All right, here for the duration, same output key HLS 10M. Sorry, let me go back and say, okay, I added the M here. Okay, so that is it. That is not done. All right, I will now add a playlist. Right, so the playlist, for the name, I'll just give it primary. For format, I'm going to choose HLSV3. All right, so that is like the minimum, right? So that, as I said, it has to be universally streamable. All right, and then for the output master playlist, I am going to select this one. I'll add another one. 15. I'll add another one. 10. All right, so I have added all the playlists that I create, sorry, the file types that I created. And then now that I'm done, I can now click on create job. Okay, so the job is being created, so which means that after some time, when I go to, so I can refresh it here. Okay, so let me click on refresh. Okay, it's still progressing, so let's wait for a while. But if I should go to the S3 buckets, so let me see. Okay, this one is done. So let's go back to the S3 buckets, and I'll go to the bucket. I should see, so I have to refresh this page as well. Okay, so you can see now we have the output folder, and if I should open the output folder, we should now see some files being populated here, right? So you can see the files being populated here. The encoding job, I don't think it's done. All right, so we have to wait for some time till it's done, because we are going to play the playlist file right there. So it should look like something like this, but this playlist is for the HLS10M that we created. The file we need is primary.m3u8. All right, so the file, or the URL that will play our file, consists of two parts, right? So the CloudFront domain name, and then also the path of the playlist file in the S3 bucket, right? And this is the output that is generated by the transcoder. All right, so I'll go to CloudFront here, and I'll get the CloudFront distribution name. So I'll copy. So here I will need a text editor, but I will not use a text editor. What I will do is I'll create a new tab, paste the distribution name here, and then give it a / and then now come to the bucket. All right, and I need to search for primary. Let me search and see if I can get, so this is the file that I want, right? So this one includes all the different file types that the mobile devices can play. All right, so I'll select the primary m3u8 file. right? And I'll copy the key, right? So this is the path, output slash primary, right? So I'll copy this key and I'll add it here. So forward slash and then paste, right? So this will be the URL to the file type. Mostly a browser, a PC browser might not support this. So let me copy it and then press enter and see. So you can see it will download the file, right? So what I will do is I will head to my mobile device and I will use that to stream my file. So let's go. So this is my Chrome browser. I'll paste the link and then now tap go. And you can see the video is opening. And now I'll press play. So this is the video that we transcoded or we converted, right?
I saw that there is a free training and free self-paced lab on Amazon.
All right, so that's all about it. I hope you like this demonstration. I'll see you in another video for another hands-on.